Now behold, O man, I have declared my first and second resurrections, the lower and higher heavens, unto you. And in like manner is the third resurrection, but still higher. And so on are all the heavens of the Creator, higher and higher, until the inhabitants thereof and therein become very lords than gods themselves. Nevertheless, hear thou, old man, wisdom, be appreciative of the way of resurrection being opened up unto you. Now I declare unto you there are angels lower than the first resurrection, being incapacitated from various causes, from knowing who they are, from where they came, or where they are going. Yea, many of them know not words of speech, nor signs, nor tokens, but are as destitute of knowledge as young babes. Many of them died in infancy. Some of them were killed by abortion, some of them were idiots, and some of them were deranged. Many of these live by fetal. And that thou may know them, what fetal is, behold, the Creator hath given you testimony in mortality, whereby when a young child sleeps with a very old person, that child is devoured of its unseen substance. In such case, the old person is fetal on the young child, and the old person is said to live by fetal. Now, hear thou, old man, the judgment of thy God. Half the people born into the world, including stillborns and abortions, die in infancy. Therefore, there are 1,000 million angel infants fetal on the earth every 30 years. These angels never obtain objective knowledge of the corporeal earth, but are compelled to learn subjectively earthly things through mortals upon whom they are fetaled. Judgment is rendered against all nations and peoples on the earth for this great darkness, these early deaths. And because these angels are thus bound to mortals, and cannot go away from them until such time as mortals die, mortals are responsible and are bound to train them up by examples of righteousness and good works. Now aside from such angels, there are such as are slain in war, whose minds are in chaos, who dying in the heat and passion and fear and anger on the battlefield become wild and bound, or mayhem stroll away into deserted houses and castles, and are lost, bewildered, unapproachable. Of these there are hundreds of millions, and they are in all countries and amongst all peoples of the world. They are distracted and tormented with their own fears and bewilderment. Judgment is rendered against all nations and peoples in the world who engage in war, thus bringing these afflictions upon the angels of heaven. Judgment is rendered against every nation and all people in the world who carry on war, who are accessory to war, whereby any man, created life, is slain, in defense of any king or any ruler, or in defense of any country or government in all the world. And whether war be offensive or defensive, my judgment is against its aiders and abettors, and against the kings and queens or other rulers who are parties to war, willingly, knowingly, or otherwise. And I judge them guilty also who is general, commodore, captain, sergeant, or private, that engages in war or takes part therein, aiding, abetting, or otherwise, whereby any man, created alive by the Creator, is slain or caused to suffer death. And yet, aside from angels who are in chaos, there are hundreds of millions who are in declension instead of resurrection. Such angels are those who in mortal life were whipped and tortured in prisons, or perhaps were hanged or otherwise put to death. These angels take delight in evil instead of good. Sometimes they go about singly, and sometimes in gangs of hundreds and even thousands. In olden times, the false gods used such angels to fulfill curses on mortals, and to carry poison in the air and inoculate portals with foul diseases. Behold, in this day my angels have shown you that they can bring flowers and ponderous bodies, so that even could the false gods with their trained warrior angels, who delighted in evil, cast mortals in death by poisons and suffocation and plague. Judgment is rendered against all nations and peoples who use prisons as places for whipping and torturing prisoners, and against all nations and peoples who put to death, by hanging, shooting, in any way whatsoever, any prisoner or any person who was created alive. Judgment is rendered against the judge and the jury who condemn to death any man, and against the lawmakers who make, who have left in force, a law authorizing death as a penalty against any person the Creator created alive, and against any sheriff or executioner that put to death willingly or knowingly any person created alive. And this is the bondage I put upon all as such that do not obey my judgments, and conform thereto. They shall not rise above the first lower heavens, whilst war remaineth upon the earth, even though their bondage be 100 years or 1,000 years, yet this, my judgment against them, shall not be put aside. Neither shall any king, nor queen, nor any ruler in all the world, impress as a soldier any man who is unwilling to engage in war. And whosoever obeys not this judgment shall rise above not in the first resurrection in heaven, whilst war remains on earth. Neither will I consider the prayers of any king, or queen, or any other ruler, or any nation or people in all the world who engage in war, offensive or defensive, who aid or abet war in any way whatsoever. But I will abandon all such people, and my Lord shall abandon them, my holy angels shall abandon them, and they shall be left to their own prey of harvest of evil spirits, and to all manner of. And they shall be afflicted with assassinations and intriguers and despoilers, with anarchy, riots, and destruction. For they shall be made to understand that whosoever the Creator created alive is sacred upon the earth, and whosoever heeds not these my judgments sins against all. Behold, it's not sufficient apology for them to say, an evil king will come upon my country and possess it. I say to you, O man, all countries are the Creator's. Be his servant unto peace and righteousness, having faith in him. Behold, thy God has put away old things, to give you unto the kingdoms of the Creator, just as they are in his exalted heavens. Heed the judgments of your God. You cannot stay the hand of the Almighty.